What are the biggest risks of generative AI in business? Picture this, the promise and pitfalls of generative AI. Imagine you've just integrated a cutting-edge generative AI tool into your business operations. Maybe it's helping you whip up marketing copy, design new products, or automate customer interactions. The possibilities seem endless, and you're excited about the efficiency gains and innovation this technology promises. But then, a few weeks in, things start to feel off. You notice strange outputs from the AI, some content seems inappropriate or biased. Unexpected costs begin piling up, and you're suddenly tangled in compliance questions you weren't prepared for. What went wrong? This scenario isn't a rare one. As incredible as generative AI is, it comes with its own set of risks that businesses need to understand before diving headfirst into adoption. In this first part of our multi-part series, I'm going to walk you through what generative AI really is, how it functions, and the key risks that can trip up businesses like yours if they're not careful. Understanding generative AI. Let's start at square one. What exactly is generative AI? In simple terms, generative AI refers to a class of artificial intelligence systems designed to create new content, whether that's text, images, music, or even product designs, based on patterns learned from training data. Unlike traditional AI models that might simply classify or predict, generative AI can generate something new that didn't exist before. For example, tools like OpenAI's GPT-3 can write essays, answer questions, or draft emails that sound remarkably human. Image generation models like DALL-E can create visuals from textual descriptions, opening up new creative avenues for marketing or design teams. Businesses are increasingly adopting these technologies to automate creative tasks, speed up product development, and enhance customer engagement. But how does generative AI actually work? At its core, generative AI models are trained on massive datasets, think millions or even billions of words, images, or other types of content. These models use machine learning algorithms to identify patterns and structures within the data, enabling them to produce outputs that mimic or extrapolate from what they've seen during training. The better and more diverse the training data, the higher the quality and relevance of the AI-generated content. Key risks of generative AI in business. While generative AI offers big advantages, it carries significant risks that can impact your business's bottom line and reputation. Bias and ethical concerns. One of the most talked about challenges is bias. Remember, AI models learn from data created by humans, and that data often contains unconscious biases, whether related to gender, race, culture, or other factors. According to a 2023 survey, 56% of companies using AI reported encountering bias issues in outputs, which led to ethical concerns and customer backlash. If your generative AI tool produces content that unintentionally reflects or amplifies these biases, it could alienate customers or even lead to discrimination claims. For example, an AI-generated job ad might use language that discourages applications from certain groups, or a chatbot might respond inappropriately to sensitive topics. The ethical implications here aren't just about public image, they can expose your business to legal risks and erode trust with your audience. Intellectual property issues. Another thorny problem is intellectual property, IP. When AI generates content, who owns it? What if the AI unintentionally copies copyrighted material? These questions don't have easy answers yet, but they're crucial. Imagine your AI creates a marketing slogan that closely resembles a competitor's trademarked phrase. Or it generates an image that looks suspiciously similar to a copyrighted design. You could find yourself in expensive legal disputes or forced to pull content after launch, costing time and money. Studies have found that over 30% of companies reported at least one IP-related challenge in their AI-generated outputs, highlighting how widespread this concern is becoming. Security vulnerabilities. Generative AI systems can also open new doors for cyberattacks. Because these models rely on large datasets and cloud-based infrastructure, they're potential targets for hackers looking to exploit vulnerabilities. For instance, attackers might manipulate training data to introduce malicious biases or cause the AI to behave unpredictably, a tactic known as adversarial attacks. Data breaches involving AI systems can compromise sensitive business or customer information, leading to costly fines and reputational damage. The average cost of a data breach in 2023 was around $4.45 million, with AI-related vulnerabilities becoming an increasingly significant factor. Compliance and regulatory challenges. The regulatory environment around AI is still evolving, but it's already complex. Laws like the EU's GDPR and emerging AI-specific regulations require businesses to be transparent about how AI is used, ensure data privacy, and prevent discriminatory outcomes. Navigating these compliance requirements can be tricky, especially when AI models are like black boxes. Sometimes even their own creators don't fully understand how certain outputs are generated. Failure to comply can lead to hefty fines and restrictions on AI use. Quality control and reliability. Finally, there's the question of quality. Generative AI isn't perfect. It can produce inaccurate, misleading, or nonsensical outputs that, if published without review, can damage your brand's credibility. A survey by Gartner indicated that 42% of businesses using AI experienced at least one incident of incorrect or misleading AI-generated content impacting decision-making or customer experience. This is why human oversight remains critical. Even if AI is doing the heavy lifting, you need processes in place to verify and refine outputs continuously. Wrapping up Part 1. Generative AI is undeniably powerful, but as we've seen, it's not without its pitfalls. Understanding the technology and recognizing the potential risks around bias, IP, security, compliance, and quality control is your first step toward using AI responsibly and effectively in business. In the next Part 2, the financial implications and how to mitigate risks of generative AI in business. The financial implications of generative AI risks. Picking up where we left off in Part 1, understanding generative AI's risks is crucial not only for protecting your brand but also for safeguarding your bottom line. The financial implications of these risks are often substantial, and sometimes surprisingly hidden. Rectifying errors comes at a cost when generative AI spits out biased, inaccurate, or inappropriate content. Fixing these mistakes isn't just about deleting a post or tweaking a line. It can mean hours of human review, reworking entire campaigns, or even halting product launches. According to a 2023 report from Deloitte, companies spend on average $1.2 million annually just correcting AI errors and managing their fallout. For example, imagine an AI-generated marketing email that unintentionally uses culturally insensitive phrasing. The immediate cost is the time spent rewriting the copy and resending the campaign, but there's also the lost opportunity cost and potential damage to sales if customers react negatively. Reputational damage and customer trust. Financial consequences extend far beyond direct fixes. Customer trust is fragile, and when AI-driven mistakes hit the public eye, they can erode brand reputation in ways that are hard to quantify but deeply felt. A PwC survey found that 61% of consumers are less likely to buy from a company they believe uses AI irresponsibly. This distrust can translate into lost revenue, lower customer retention, and increased acquisition costs. Take, for example, a retail company that relied on generative AI to handle customer service chatbots. When biased responses surfaced, customers took to social media to voice their frustration. The ensuing negative press didn't just dampen sales, it also required costly public relations efforts and staff retraining. Hidden legal and compliance expenses. AI-related compliance failures can be a silent budget buster. As regulatory scrutiny intensifies globally, legal fees and fines related to AI misuse are on the rise. The International Association of Privacy Professionals, IAPP, reported that global fines related to AI and data privacy violations increased by 35% in 2023, with an average penalty of $2.8 million per violation. Moreover, the murky legal landscape around AI-generated intellectual property means companies might face unexpected lawsuits or licensing fees. The cost of defending against IP claims can run into the millions, depending on the case's complexity. Mitigating risks. Best practices for businesses. Knowing the risks and their financial impact is essential, but what can you actually do to protect your business? Implementing thoughtful strategies to mitigate generative AI risks is not just smart, it's necessary. 1. Establish clear guidelines for AI use. Start by defining how and where generative AI is allowed within your organization. Set explicit boundaries around which types of content or processes AI can support and which require human approval. Clear policies create accountability and ensure AI tools are used ethically and effectively. For instance, a global consulting firm developed an AI use framework mandating human review for all AI-generated client communications. This approach slashed errors by 40% in 6 months. 2. Conduct regular audits of AI outputs. Bias and inaccuracies don't always reveal themselves immediately. Instituting regular audits helps catch problematic outputs early. Use tools like IBM's AI Fairness 360 to detect biases and measure fairness in your AI-generated content. In practice, a financial services company running monthly AI audits identified subtle gender bias in their chatbot responses, allowing them to retrain models and prevent potential discrimination. 3. Train staff on ethical AI usage. Technology alone can't solve AI's ethical challenges. Human operators and decision-makers need awareness and training on the implications of AI bias, privacy, and compliance. Empowered employees serve as an extra layer of defense against risky outputs. A marketing agency reported that after implementing quarterly AI ethics workshops, their teams became more vigilant in spotting and flagging inappropriate AI-generated content, improving overall quality control. 4. Maintain human-in-the-loop oversight. Even the best AI systems can make mistakes. Maintaining human oversight, especially for critical decisions or public-facing content, ensures that AI is a collaborator, not a replacement. This hybrid approach balances efficiency with responsibility. A healthcare startup using generative AI for patient communication keeps a clinician available to review and approve all AI-generated messages, which has helped maintain high trust levels and avoid compliance issues. 5. Keep up with regulatory changes. AI regulation is rapidly evolving. Regularly consulting with legal experts or subscribing to resources like compliance.ai can help your business stay ahead of new laws and best practices. Generative AI by the numbers, a snapshot of the landscape. Let's ground these risks and mitigation strategies in some hard data. 56% of companies using AI report experiencing bias in outputs. 2023 AI Trends Survey. The average cost of a data breach involving AI systems reached $4.45 million in 2023, IBM Security Report. 30% of businesses faced intellectual property challenges linked to AI-generated content, Forrester Research. Consumer trust in brands using AI responsibly is high, with 65% of consumers more likely to engage with companies transparent about AI use, PwC. The global adoption rate of generative AI tools in businesses grew by 48% between 2022 and 2023, reflecting rapid uptake despite risks, McKinsey. AI Adoption Report. Legal disputes related to AI-generated content have increased by 25% over the past 2 years, LexisNexis Legal Analytics. These statistics highlight that while generative AI is becoming mainstream, the financial stakes and regulatory scrutiny continue to rise. Businesses that take proactive steps to manage these risks are more likely to thrive. Looking ahead, preparing for the next wave. Understanding and mitigating current risks is essential. Part 3, Fun Facts about Generative AI Risks and an Author Spotlight. Transition from Part 2. In Part 2, we delved into the financial implications of generative AI risks and practical steps businesses can take to protect themselves. It's clear that while generative AI opens exciting opportunities, those benefits come intertwined with challenges that can cost companies both money and reputation. But beyond the serious business considerations, generative AI also has some fascinating quirks and surprising facts that are worth knowing, especially as this technology continues to evolve rapidly. So, let's lighten the mood a bit and explore some fun and insightful facts about generative AI risks that might just surprise you. 10 Fun Facts about Generative AI Risks in Business. 1. AI can hallucinate like a human brain. Generative AI sometimes fabricates information, called hallucinations, creating plausible but false outputs. This phenomenon isn't just a technical glitch, it mirrors how human brains occasionally fill in gaps with false memories. For businesses, this means AI-generated content always needs human fact-checking. 2. Bias in AI reflects society's hidden prejudices. The biases introduced by AI aren't new but are often subconscious societal biases baked into training data. For example, early AI recruiting tools favored male candidates simply because historical data reflected male dominance in certain roles. 3. AI-generated copyright conflicts are already in courtrooms. Legal battles over who owns AI-generated works are no longer theoretical. Lawsuits involving AI-created art and text are happening now, and some courts are struggling to define whether AI can be considered an author. 4. Some companies use AI to detect AI to combat deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation. Businesses are deploying AI-powered tools that detect AI-generated content, creating an AI versus AI arms race. This adds a new layer of complexity to content verification. 5. Generative AI consumes massive energy. Training large generative AI models can have a carbon footprint equivalent to hundreds of flights across the world. As businesses adopt AI, sustainability concerns are becoming part of the ethical risk conversation. 6. Adversarial attacks are like digital pranks on AI. Hackers sometimes trick AI by subtly altering input data, causing bizarre or misleading outputs. These attacks are somewhat like digital practical jokes, except the consequences for businesses can be serious. 7. AI's black box nature means even creators don't fully understand it. The complexity of generative models means that in many cases, even AI engineers can't fully explain why the AI produced a certain output. This opacity is a key risk when it comes to compliance and accountability. 8. A large percentage of AI bias can be mitigated by better training data. Surprisingly, studies show that improving training data diversity and quality can reduce AI bias by up to 70%, making data curation one of the most powerful tools for risk mitigation. 9. Some AI tools are now certified for ethical standards. Organizations like the IEEE and ISO are developing formal ethical standards and certification for AI tools, meaning businesses can soon look for ethical AI badges, much like organic food certifications. 10. Small businesses are at greater risk due to lack of resources. While big corporations can afford legal teams and AI specialists, many small and medium businesses struggle to manage AI risks effectively, highlighting a growing digital divide in AI governance. Author Spotlight. Meet Dr. Lisa Nguyen, AI ethics expert and blogger, to help us better understand generative AI's risks and ethical landscape. Let's spotlight Dr. Lisa Nguyen, a leading AI ethics researcher and popular technology blogger. Dr. Nguyen holds a PhD in computer science with a focus on machine learning fairness and explainability. Her blog, AI with Integrity, has become a go-to resource for business leaders navigating the ethical complexities of AI adoption. She combines deep academic knowledge with practical insights, making her work accessible without sacrificing rigor. Lisa's recent articles explore how companies can build AI accountability frameworks, audit their AI systems for bias, and address emerging regulatory demands. She's also a frequent speaker at industry conferences, advocating for responsible AI that serves society positively. In an interview, Lisa shared, "Generative AI is transforming business in unprecedented ways, but the risks are real and multifaceted. It's crucial for organizations to treat AI ethics not as a box-checking exercise but as an ongoing commitment that involves people, processes, and technology working together." You can follow Dr. Nguyen's latest insights at ai-with-integrity.com, https://ai-with-integrity.com, or on Twitter, at drlisangwin, https://twitter.com/drlisangwin. Looking ahead, frequently asked questions about generative AI risks. As we continue this series, many readers have asked important questions about managing generative AI risks, from legal ownership to practical mitigation strategies and beyond. In our next section, we'll tackle these frequently asked questions to provide clear, actionable answers that help your business navigate the complex AI landscape with confidence. Stay tuned. Part 4, FAQs, Biblical Wisdom, and a Call to Action on Generative AI Risks in Business. As we wrap up this deep dive into the biggest risks of generative AI in business, it's only natural to have questions. This final section answers some of the most common queries that arise when businesses consider adopting generative AI, provides a biblical perspective to inspire ethical use, highlights a trusted expert resource, and concludes with a strong call to action. Frequently asked questions (FAQs) about generative AI risks in Business 1. What are the main risks businesses face when using generative AI? The biggest risks include bias and ethical concerns, intellectual property disputes, security vulnerabilities, compliance challenges, and quality control issues. Each can lead to financial loss, reputational damage, or legal trouble if not managed properly. 2. How can companies reduce bias in AI-generated content? Bias can be mitigated by curating diverse and high-quality training data, performing regular audits, and maintaining human oversight. According to recent studies, improving training data diversity alone can reduce bias by up to 70%. 3. Who owns AI-generated content? Ownership of AI-generated content remains legally ambiguous in many jurisdictions. Businesses should consult legal experts and consider licensing agreements, especially when content might infringe on existing copyrights or trademarks. 4. How vulnerable is generative AI to cyberattacks? AI systems can be targets for adversarial attacks, data poisoning, or breaches, especially when relying on cloud infrastructure. Robust cybersecurity practices and ongoing monitoring are vital to protect AI assets. 5. What compliance regulations apply to the use of generative AI? Regulations like the EU's GDPR, California's CCPA, and emerging AI-specific laws mandate transparency, fairness, and data protection. Compliance requires documenting AI processes and ensuring outputs do not discriminate or violate privacy. 6. Can generative AI replace human creativity and judgment? No. While AI can assist and accelerate creative tasks, human judgment is essential to review outputs, ensure ethical standards, and contextualize content appropriately. 7. How costly can AI-related errors be? Costs vary, but fixing AI mistakes can run into millions annually when considering error correction, legal fees, lost sales, and reputational repair. For example, companies spend on average $1.2 million annually addressing AI-generated errors. 8. Are there certifications for ethical AI? Yes. Organizations like IEEE and ISO are developing certifications for ethical AI use, allowing businesses to demonstrate commitment to responsible AI adoption. 9. How can small businesses manage generative AI risks without large budgets? Small businesses should prioritize clear AI use policies, invest in training employees, leverage reputable AI tools with built-in safeguards, and consult trusted experts or community resources to stay informed. 10. What role does human oversight play in AI deployment? Human oversight is critical. Humans must review AI-generated outputs, especially in public-facing roles, to catch errors, biases, and inappropriate content before it reaches customers or stakeholders. Biblical insight, wisdom for ethical AI use in navigating the complex terrain of generative AI risks. It's helpful to reflect on timeless wisdom. Proverbs 11 verse 3, NKJV, reminds us, the integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. This verse underscores the importance of integrity and accountability, principles that are vital when adopting powerful technologies like AI. Businesses that commit to ethical AI use, prioritizing fairness, transparency, and responsibility, will be better guided through the challenges and avoid the pitfalls that come from neglecting these values. Outreach, expert resource for ethical AI adoption. For continued guidance on managing generative AI risks and promoting ethical AI practices, I highly recommend exploring the work of Dr. Lisa Nguyen at AI with Integrity, ai-with-integrity.com, https://ai-with-integrity.com. Dr. Nguyen's expert insights, practical frameworks, and up-to-date analysis make her blog an invaluable resource for business leaders and technology practitioners alike. Her contributions emphasize that ethical AI is not a one-time checklist but a continuous commitment, something every organization must embrace to harness AI's benefits safely and sustainably. Conclusion: embrace AI with confidence and caution. Generative AI holds incredible promise to revolutionize business creativity, efficiency, and customer engagement. However, the risks we've explored, bias, intellectual property challenges, security threats, regulatory complexities, and quality concerns, are real and substantial. Through clear policies, regular audits, human oversight, staff training, and staying abreast of regulatory changes, businesses can not only mitigate these risks but also build trust with customers and stakeholders. Remember, using generative AI responsibly requires a blend of technology, ethics, and human wisdom. As you consider integrating generative AI tools into your business, don't rush blindly into adoption. Take the time to understand the technology, anticipate challenges, and put safeguards in place. By doing so, you'll position your organization to thrive in this new AI-driven landscape. Let integrity guide your AI journey, because, as Proverbs reminds us, that integrity will be your true North Star. Outreach, AI with integrity, AI with